Mr. Bright.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, this is Dela.
Go ho ho.
What's up?
Mr. Man, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Money is coming, eh?
Oh, no, I'm still in school. There is no money.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we'll talk later, right?
Okay, sir.
Prof. Good afternoon, Prof.
Oh, senior himself is here. Today, dear, we have brought you out.
Charlie, you've taken me out of my hole. Eh?
Yes. Thank you very much for responding to the call.
Thanks for inviting me. I've seen
Yes.
the Klinsman. Hey, Officer Isaac.
Mr. Man,
Mr. Sam.
unmute yourself. Let me unmute you.
So I can see, Hilaros Della here. Is here Ezekiel and Isaac. Who do we have? Let me see.
Yeah, we have about 32 participants.
Okay, I've got Wisdom here, Emmanuel here, Felix Jaban, Sophie B, Frank Techi, Godfred, Akanbon Pearl, Mabel, Bismarck Donko, Mohammed, James Ayena, Kojo, Amisa, Timothy Ajako, Peter Mensah, Daniel Osei, Ikuya Amusa, Samuel Aipa, Hubert, Samira, is that Richard? Richard does it, Trudy. This is like a jam-packed.
That's right.
Yeah. Akwasi Anima, Gopelopon, Aquia, James, and your good self. It's been a long time. How are you doing, Bright?
Yeah, very well, senior. Yeah.
Well,
COVID is keeping us, but we are pushing.
that's good to hear. As you can see, I'm locked up in my car at home because I can't. It's still it's 4:27, so still very early in the morning, and because of the way my house is, if I talk
That's right.
just a little bit to wake everyone up, so
That's right. I know.
I've been sacked. I've been sacked from my house to come and sit in the car at the garage and talk.
Yeah, thank you for availing yourself for us. I know students will benefit a lot from this interaction.
Hopefully they do, because
yeah, I was telling them I met you at Matt. We also met in the industry.
Yep.
And I remember I was not working directly in your company, but I could sneak myself from my company, come and join you at night in the office and learn something.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was telling them they have to take advantage of network, and you have a lot to share. So, Mr. President,
I remember.
If you are
I
there,
remember all those Achirana days.
Yeah, those Chirano days.
Yeah. So it looks like everyone is on audio, isn't it? Because I can't see their videos. I can only see you and Sam.
Yeah, I think in Ghana, when you put on your video, maybe
it's gonna chew all your dollars.
it will fly your data. So
Okay, I
yeah. So
understand.
who is the
Yeah.
MC? Hubert. I think they normally have an MC who moderates.
Yep.
Mm.
Patron, he's in the person of Hubert J.
Okay,
Hubert,
Hubert,
okay.
fire, and let's go.
Okay.
Guys, are you sure he's online? If he's not online, just take over. Right? Yeah, take over because people's network or data bundle are running out. And they want to
Okay.
hear a big man. Yeah.
All right, Patron, I'll take over. Mr. Hubert J, are you around?
Yeah, I'm back, Mr. President.
Okay, the voice in your hands.
Okay. Good evening to us all, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are going to have a very good session with Mr. Akwasi Amponsa, who is a mining engineer in Australia. And then we hope that by the end of the session, we are all going to benefit from it. I would like to start today's seminar with God, and then we hope everything will be successful. To set the ball rolling, we will ask our president to give us a welcome address to this seminar. So, Mr. President, welcome address for us this evening.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity, moderator. I welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me once again on behalf of the Student Forum to extend to you a warm and a cordial welcome on our second pre-scheduled virtual talk session. In the same vein, we are pleased to also welcome some non-awesome members in our midst. Notwithstanding, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously helped us make this event become a success. Most importantly, to Mr. Henry, the sponsor and founder of the Student Forum, Mr. Bright Ifum, our patron, Isaac Sam, the mine planning and fit management engineer at Anglo Gold, if you are pretty much to precise, which are not in the chronology. I've held today's session without them. In today's gathering, I would like to focus on all who have joined us in the likes of the industry professionals, sponsors, alumni, the student forum, and everyone present. We need you as much as you need us, and that is why we are grateful to have you join us on Zoom. In the next few minutes, you'll be exposed on my professional mining experience in Ghana and Australia by Mr. Akwasi Apea-Akyampon, Amponsa. Just as the moderator has already exposed his name to us. He is a senior mining engineer anyway, and I hope today's session help you grow to become more productive and smarter in your individual engineering disciplinary lives. Conclusively, ladies and gentlemen, and without wasting much time, let us begin and unfold the various events awaiting. I hope you all enjoy the moment with the senior mining engineer. Thank you and the best for the day.
Thank you, Mr. Before we continue, to avoid if you are not going to speak, you kindly mute your microphone so that you don't cause any distractions. Okay, we would ask Mr. Isaac Sam to give us the opening address for tonight's seminar. A very quick one.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. I think once again, you are all welcome to this online, Zion Student Chapter talk. And thank you to each of you, taking the time off your busy schedules, just to enlighten yourself on the professional mine experience in Ghana and also in Australia. And I also want to congratulate the executives and anyone who has actually been involved in coordinating, this online session. I think it's been marvelous. This is the second one in a row, and you guys have done a very good job, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic where we are studying online. You how to organize this kind of mates. It's a great achievement. So let's get the ball rolling. Why the topic professional mining experience in Ghana and in Australia? I think during last year's seminar, I made mention of being a global citizen, and it's good to serve your country. Actually, I'm not telling you to limit your boundaries, especially our education is more subsidized, but we want to understand why. Why do you have to be a global citizen? Akwasi now is a global citizen, it's a global professional. And I did a quick estimation just before this talk, and I realized that every year I could see just between 20 to 30% of graduates are employed in the mining industry. And you ask yourself, is it worth it to just have a vision to just be in Ghana, to just limit yourself to the local environment? So as you are students, and as you are thinking aloud, don't limit yourself to the boundaries of Ghana. It's good to serve your country, why not? But again, as you go out there, they see you as a Ghanaian. They see that this guy is from Ghana, irrespective of whatever you are doing. They see you as a Ghanaian. So let's start thinking about it. And I'll encourage you guys to read a book from Educating the Engineer for the 21st Century. If you can write it out, Top Gen Headband. And he wrote on more this. If you want to read about being a global professional, you can read on it. And today we have in our midst our seasoned Mr. Akwasi Amponsa, my boss, with experience in both continents. He has experience in Africa and Australia. And when it comes to gold, Ghana is the number one in Ghana, and Australia too is doing marvelous. So we are very, very privileged to have someone who had worked in both worlds to have a talk with us. And prepare yourself to be challenged, excited, and inspired. And I encourage everyone to listen attentively. Put down some notes. If you have any questions after the section, you can ask. And thanks once again for making time to make this online possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sam, for the address. We will call on our Vice President to give us a bit of introduction about who Mr. Akwasi Apea-Akyampon Amponsa is, our speaker for tonight. So, Mr. Vice President, if you are around, please give us a brief introduction of who Mr. Akwasi Apea-Akyampon is to us.
Okay, good evening, and you are all welcome to tonight's edition of Awesome Virtual Seminar. All right, to speak with us tonight is an experienced personality in the mining industry for 13 good years. Recently, he worked for the AngloGold Ashanti Sunrise Gold Dam mine as a senior mining engineer, predominantly in a short-term to medium-term space. His pursuit and resilience to achieve his dream in the academic cycle led to his award of the bachelor's degree in the mining engineering from the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa, and Master of Science in Project Management from the Curtin University, Bentley in the Western Australia. During the course of his undergraduate studies, he held a quite number of leadership roles. The Asante Hene for the Asante Student Union, member of the SRC Entertainment Committee, deputy school goalkeeper, and the founding member of the EMAT TESCON. Just to mention but a few, aside being a senior mining engineer by profession, he's an associate member of the AWESOM, member of the Australian Institute of Product Management, that is the AIPM, member of the Toastmaster International, member of the Society of Mining and Minerals Engineer, SME. He is married to Barbara Benis Adey Amponsa and a father of two, that is Halo and poet Basi Amponsa. Okay, he believes his aspiration behind today's seminar is to share my story to inspire students and be potentially aware of things to look out for as you start your individual career journeys diplomatically. Conclusively, without protocols observed, giving a complete of the students forum, industry and gentlemen, shall we welcome Mr. Akwasi Apea-Akyampon as he commences his virtual talk on my professional in mining experience, Ghana and Australia. Mr. Akyampon, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much, James and Hubert, for the introduction. Also to Bright and Isaac. As you can see, like I said before, I'm sitting in my car, had a garage, so that's how you can see only half of me. You can see fully, but hopefully the pictures get better. I am excited to be here and to share my story in the industry with you. When I was thinking about what to say to students, I started to write things down, and I said to myself after I had about 5 slides, why do I even need to write things down if I'm going to be sharing something about me? It's a personal story, so I guess it's worth not writing anything down, because the authenticity will come from me sharing it straight from heart than writing something down. So as you can see, I've got no scripts here. I'm just virtually going to talk to you in a form of a conversation. I don't know how the last speakers have done it. Maybe people prepare slides and do a proper presentation with you, but we're gonna mix things up today. So nothing here. We will just have a chat like friends who have caught up to have a chat, so that we can straight away from the beginning open up for questions and things like that. So just like any of you, after school, all we aspire to do is to get a job and be able to live the lives that we want to, be able to take care of our families, and that was for me as well. But in school, I never had a chance to do any vacation work. For the 4 years there, I never had a chance. And I think normally they will come and there will be some companies come out to ask for students to come on vacation jobs. And normally it was only for 2 people or 3 people. And at a time in my class, we were, I think the largest number of class in the school, we were about 44 when I was in first year. I think 2 or 3 people left along the way, and 1 passed suddenly when we were in the 3rd year. So at the time I completed, we were like 40. So just imagine, for the 4 years, we had it like 3 times, 2nd year, 3rd year, and the final year. And, we have to vote. So it was only 2, maybe 6 people who had a chance to do vacation work from that kind of voting. The rest probably, through their own individual connections they had in their minds, had the opportunity to do it. So I did not have any chance whatsoever. And my first chance was when I went to do my national service. We went for some tour. I remember it was for one of the courses, either mining machinery 1 or 2. There was a course like that, and we had to go to the field. So that was Professor Aroja, may his soul rest in peace. Aroja was the one who took us on that field trip. And in our final year, we had to go to Akwasi also as part of our coursework. So those were the 2 times in my 4-year career, my 4-year education in UMAT, that I visited a mine. And, born and bred in Kumasi, so I hadn't really been onto a mine site before. Even the idea of mining wasn't in my vocabulary until maybe after senior high school, when I had to apply for school and someone advised me to try mining. So mining was something really far from me. And having been there 4 years, not had a chance to go into the mines, then it looks like it wasn't even worth coming to study for this course. But I had to persevere. And fortunately for me, I got a chance to go and do my national service in Obuasi. And that was when things actually changed for me. There was one thing. My story is all in story. So please, in listening, take note of the stories that I share, because that's where the main points will come from at the end of my speech. I remember in the first week in Obuasi, Obuasi had a training school. So when you go, they actually draw a training program for you. So first week you'll be here, next week you'll be here, next month you'll be here, and so forth and so on. So I think I went to one department in the first week. I was going to ask for something from someone, and I met a man. I think he was a messenger. I don't know him. I can't remember him now. Even if I see him, I won't know that was him. But I remember the story that he told me. He asked me what I was doing, and I said, we just reported here. I'm a mining engineer, and I'm going to the training department. We've got a meeting there. So he asked me what I did in school, and I told him mining. I said, it's a really good course you did, and all the engineers here, you can even become a shift boss, you eventually become a manager, and the money is good, and so forth and so on. But then he said, the most important part, he said, I don't know what you got in school, first class, second class, or last class. Once you are in this mine, what matters is what you do. What matters is how seriously you take the job. Here we don't ask for first class or second class or third class or whatever. It's all about your work, the work that you do. And it is something for me to remember this after almost 15 years or so, tells you how significant that conversation was. And this was someone I didn't know from anywhere, someone I had just met, and in a conversation just like that. And these are the things that I think speak to the heart, mostly when you engage with people. It's about the things you take out from conversations like that. I could be called I could be called a hoarder in some sense. I hoard things, so I still have stuff from school. Most of my pamphlets and notebooks and stuff from school, I still have them even here. I was just rearranging my stuff a couple of weeks ago, and I was reading through some of the notes that I written down from school times, from some of the lectures. So I hoard stuff, to be blunt. So I still had all my notebooks and stuff from school with me when I was doing my national service in Obuasi, and I was basically at that time interrogating what I've done in school against what I was seeing on the field. So anytime I go underground, anytime I had a chance to do anything, I go back to my room after work and just go through my notes. I just take some of my notes. When I see an equipment, I just go through my notes and see if we were even taught this in school, because I was also the type who was always questioning if there is any significant importance of some of the things that were being taught in school. I remember one lecturer, I don't know if he's still there, Azima used to teach us engineering drawing. And I used to question him a lot about the importance of some of the drawings we were doing. And that's the only thing he remembered me for. He didn't even know my name, but I think in fourth year, anytime he sees me, he's like, I remember you by those questions you used to ask. So I was kind of in my national service time asking myself all these questions, if there was any relevance in some of the things that we were being taught in school. So every time after work, I'll go back into my room and, go through my notes and try to compare what I'm seeing on the ground against what we are being taught. And then I took it like seriously. I was like, this is probably my last chance to stay in the industry, because, in Ghana, we all know after your service, if you are unlucky and you don't get a job where you are, you might end up, going to take another profession. Either you go and teach, or you go and, you go into banking, or you go into any, other stuff. So I thought, if I wanted to stay in the industry, this was my chance. After 10 months of national service, that would be the only time I've ever worked in the mine. That would be the only thing I can put on my CV if I needed a job afterwards. And therefore, how do I make these 10 months work for me? How do I take advantage of this and not make it, look like an ordinary thing? This is 10 months of my life that I'm not going to get back. How do I make this 10 months count? So by that, I was very, I was encouraged to make connections, to learn, and to ask questions. So any department that I went, I will be one of the people who will always be asking questions. Like, I'm asking questions all the time. Why this, why that? Because I saw those 10-month period as very critical in my life. Then importantly, something that will help me or change me in the future, I didn't know at the time. We went to Akwasi in October 2005. Then I had a friend, I met a shift boss who went to Opokuari, so I also went to Akwasi. So he was kind of, we became instant friends, and he told me what I was doing for Christmas. He asked me what I was doing for, and I said I was going to Kumasi for Christmas. And he said, look, I'm told there is this Ghanaian from Australia who is coming on site to do a presentation. If you want to stay back, I think it was on the 24th of December. National service guys, almost everyone was gone. Maybe around the 18th, everyone was gone. And I had to stay back. And I said, well, look, this is my boss. This is the person I want to be. He's a shift boss. I would love to be a shift boss maybe one day after all this. So if he asked me to stay back, for why not? Then I stayed back. We went for the speech, and that was when I met Henry. So that was Henry who came to give the speech, and in essence, what I picked up from the presentation, and I still remember till today, was Henry was telling the workforce about the opportunities in the Australian industry and the fact that there is a shortage of engineers here. And he's not asking them in Obuasi to quit their job or anything, but to ask for exchange programs so that Obuasi Anglo Gold has mines here that they could do exchange programs with, and some people in Ghana can come here maybe 3 or 4 months, come and see how they operate here and how they do things here and stuff like that. So that was the kind of message that he was putting out there. And therefore, I I went to speak to him after his speech, and I'm like, look, I know your speech was about the workers here and all of that. I am not a worker here. I'm just a national service person, and after national service, probably I will actually go home. So how do I get into the industry in Australia? I remember that time he said, because of the shortage of mining engineers, civil engineers were being recruited in the industry in Australia, to work as mining engineers, and therefore, if you're a mining engineer, it would be great for you and all of that. And I remember him saying they were being paid like $5,000 a month, and even with that, they said it was too small, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, even in Obuasi at that time, I think national service we were taking like something like $400 or something like that. So when I had 5,000 and people are still like, they don't even want to do the job for $5,000. I'm like, if I get this opportunity, I will be straight there. So I contacted him. He asked me to send him my CV, but at that time I had only been in Obuasi for three months, so I barely had no experience. So we established contact at that time, and then Henry became my mentor, and it's been really great. It's been really great, and to see someone who had been in Takwa, who had been in Obuasi, and now was in Australia, and he was a manager at that time, and I was like, this is the dream. This is what you aspire to be, and therefore, mentorship was very important. That I stuck to him, and anything that he advised me on, So he basically said, look, you don't have enough experience, and no company is going to take you. So that was really very, that was the truth, and he said it as it is. And he said, all you need to do is finish your thing, get a job, work for maybe 2.5 years to 3 years, get some experience. Then maybe your CV will be worthwhile for people to even look at. So that's where your concentration should be. Where you are now, be serious about it, learn, and after you've gotten some experience, then you can start to look outside. And also in his topic that night, he was talking about the importance of seeing yourself as a global person, because the industry is such that the competition is everywhere. And it was funny he mentioned that, because in 2 months after his speech, a couple of students from Brazil came to Obuasi to work in the long-term department. And when they came there for, I think, 6 months or almost a year. And our understanding was these were students who were in their 3rd year. They have deferred school, their final year, to come and work in Obuasi. And one manager there was not really happy about it, because we were just about finishing our national service, and they said they didn't have any work for us. And he was questioning why they have work for students from Brazil who were being paid like 3 or 4 times even what they pay the Ghanaians there. Why not train these national service guys and let them take these roles? Because all that these people know, which is different from these guys, probably the software that they use. So it wasn't really fair on us, but that's what the company had done. They've brought in people from overseas, and they are the experts and all of that. But as Henry mentioned that in his speech, it really made sense that we should remember that the competition there is a global one. Companies will pick people based on their competence and what they will get out of them, regardless of where they are. So now I've got friends here who are doing flying and fly out from Ghana. We've got friends in Ghana who are doing flying and fly out from Mali, Burkina Faso, and all around. So what you should remember is that the skill that you acquire is not limited only to Ghana. And once you become a mining engineer, it is a global industry, and you could be anywhere. you are as competent as the person studying in Colorado School of Mines right now, and you are as competent. Look, UMAT is the only, I don't know if there's any other one, but so far as I knew, it was the only one in West Africa. And among 2 or 3 in Africa, there's one in Zambia also, and South Africa, and a couple of them down south. But so far as West Africa is concerned, I knew we were the only mining school. And therefore, it tells you that graduates from our school should be the leaders when it comes to the mining industry in West Africa. And therefore, after school, you shouldn't just be thinking about getting a job in Ghana only. You should be very broad. You should be open, and you should take advantage of every chance that comes your way. I don't know how I'm doing with time. What time have I left so that I will see where I should go, if I should continue or
minutes more.
Sorry, 5 minutes. 10.
10. Yes, please.
Okay, nah, that's great. All right, so that was me in Obuasi. I took my 10 months in Obuasi very, 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 very seriously. Like, I don't think I had ever been that serious in my life at that point, like that ever. Background to my coming to UMAT. So I, from high school, wanted to be a pharmacist, and therefore I wanted to go to tech. But I was good in maths, so my math was good. But for some reason, my biology did not work out, and I had to go and do research in biology. So I came to UMAT to while away time. Like the 1 year that instead of me to go and sit in the house, I'll just go to UMAT and then learn, and then go and do my research for biology. And if I get a better grade in biology, probably go and reapply for pharmacy. And that is what landed me in UMAT. But then after I stayed there for 1 year, you make friends, you start to enjoy the environment, then you take it as it is. But then I finally realized after I was coming out of school that the lifestyle I want to enjoy really will be supported by me working in the mines. The money is good in the industry. Whether you are in Ghana or you are in Brazil, anywhere you are one of the top paid people in the country. That is how the mining industry is. And if you want to live some kind of lifestyle, maybe mining is not that bad at all for you. If you want to be driving some fast cars and get some big houses and stuff like that. But then it is what you do with it once you get in. So after my 10 months in Obuasi, they were doing redundancy at that time, so we did not get any opportunity there, and they asked us that they will call us. So I was just bothering them every now and then, because I lived in Kumasi. I could just take a bus and be in Obuasi in an hour's time. So I was always going there, bothering them. Then one manager, which I think you all know, Peter Amponsa, he was the GM at that time, and he was leaving. And Peter asked me, he was forming a company, and if I could just, if I could come and work for him. So he has started, I think it was called Goshen Mining International, and later changed to Pamico. So he was doing boreholes, drilling boreholes in the mines. Got a couple of contracts in, what's the name of the town before Takwa? It starts with B. I've forgotten the name.
Bogoso.
Bogoso, good.
Oh, Bogoso. Okay.
So I came to Bogaso to do a couple of projects. And what I loved about Peter was Peter, just like Henry, believes in the capacity of the Ghanaian students. He thinks we are not given the chance, and that's why probably people don't function or we don't see the potential in us. Peter basically had just formed a company. He's gotten contract in Bogaso. Since me, I have just completed my national service. So, still that Ghanaian mentality, yes, sir, massa, and, what the elderly say is the truth and all of that. Sends me to Bogaso. He say, I have a contract, go and execute this contract. Mind you, I haven't done any projects before. I haven't even, been in a meeting with all these GMs and managers before. Says, go to the GM, go to the GM's office. This is the contract you are going to sign on my behalf. And at that time gave me it was like something like 50,000 Ghana. Bear in mind, my pay was less than 500 Ghana. And he was giving me a check of that amount to go and buy all the stuff we needed for the contract, go to Ghana Water to sign another contract to get the borehole rig. And I was basically going to be in charge of the workers. And these are people who have been doing their stuff, like they are the Ghana Water people. They have the boreholes, they know the rigs. I knew nothing about anything. And for him to entrust that amount of money, and also, his company, which is newly formed, and everything in my hands was something that it was just mind blowing. I had to literally go and sit in a cafe like almost all night to learn about boreholes because I knew nothing about boreholes. And then my school notes also came back to me because I had to go and study rigs, how these water rigs are different from the rigs we use underground and all of that. But it was just that trust that someone would trust me with that kind of money and something so important like that. And even when I went there, my colleagues my classmates who got job there, who were working as mining engineers, they see me come. We had few chats. Then I went into the GM's office to go and have a chat with him and sign contracts. And they were like, "Oh, you are the big man." I'm like, "Nah." At that time, I didn't even know how much I was being paid because I was just happy that someone was giving me that responsibility. Someone was entrusting his business in my hands. And I hadn't even spoken to Peter about money issues, like how much are you going to pay me at the end of the month or something? Because I took it as a favor. He was doing me a favor by even giving me a job. Because after national service, I think I had been in the house for 2 months without, no interviews, nothing. And he calls me and do this for me. So Peter and Henry, I later out found out they were friends, and therefore, I just fell under their wings like that and just let them teach me and learn from them. And I think Bright knows the story. We ended up being in Toronto because after a couple of contracts, Peter, we didn't have any contracts. I think I did it for about 6 months. We didn't have any contracts, and he asked me, "Do you still want to work in the mining industry?" And I said yes. And then he introduced me to someone in BBNE. I got a job there, and to cut a long story short, that's where I went to start my mining career. Then after I think 10 months or 11 months, Peter came to Toronto and offered me a drill and blast position for the underground. And one story also from Toronto that I want to share. So when Peter employed me in Toronto, at the time I was doing from BBNE, I was doing my what we call the underground time, basically getting experience underground to become a shift boss. So I was probably getting to the tail end of my training when Peter asked me to come over to come and do drill and blast. So drill and blast is a technical role. You're going to be in the office and do designs. But from Obuasi to BBNE, I haven't been in the office. All these were field works, so I haven't actually, used any software or anything like that before. And he asked me to come, and I told him, I haven't done all this before. He said, yeah, I'm gonna get you to be trained. I will have you trained. I'll organize training for you. So he hires me. I get to site. 1st of September 2008. Peter quits 1st of October 2008. So Peter quits. A new manager comes in, Dustin, some Canadian, and he was a young guy. Dustin comes in, and I am introduced to him as, this is your drill and blast engineer. So to him, he doesn't know my background. He doesn't know what Peter has arranged with me whatsoever. So to him, I am the underground drill and blast engineer. And at the time, Trano had started his first underground operation. And we were now bringing in our new drilling rigs and all of that. And he said, I need you to get me some drill designs so that we can try this rig when it arrives on site in 2 weeks' time. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is the beginning of the end of me, because I'm now going to get exposed that I don't even, know how to use the softwares. Then, luckily for me, we've got friends who are still in the open pit who have used the softwares before, but they don't know underground. They were all open pit engineers. They haven't been underground before, and therefore they don't know how the underground environment looks. And these are two different areas. So the drill and blast in underground is different from the drill and blast in open pits, but the fundamentals are the same. They are all drill holes that you are going to put explosives in and blast. That is all. But it's different if you haven't seen it underground before. So I have done it underground. I have, seen drill holes. I have charged drill holes, but they haven't been underground, so they have no idea. So I have to basically explain to them how it looks like underground, so they will be able to show me how to do it on the computer for me to do my plans. And I had to take, I think I slept 2 weeks continuous in the office to learn SEPAC, to learn the basics. I had to sleep in the office continuously for 2 weeks. After work, when everyone is gone, I'll go and have my dinner, then go and rest a little bit in my room, go back to the office, stay in the office till maybe 12 a.m. Then one of our friends, his room was closer to the office, Benghazi. He was a Jew. Then I'll go and sleep in Benghazi's office from maybe 12 to 2:30 a.m. Then after 2:30 a.m., I wake up, go back to the office, I read all the manual of the software, just to get the basics. Then slowly, like in a couple of days time, I was able to design something. Then I got the design for them in 2 weeks without them knowing how I did it, that I slept in the office all those times. So I remember when they were drilling that hole that I designed, I was in the house, and I just wanted to find out if the design I did worked. And I was calling Odro, Bright knows him. I was calling Odro every morning. I'm like, have they drilled the hole yet? He said, they started yesterday. I said, okay, let me know when it breaks through, because my fear was it was not going to break through where it needed to break through, and it was going to go somewhere else and cause havoc, and I was gonna be in trouble. Then finally, he calls me one afternoon and said, they just had a breakthrough and they've drilled the next one. And you could see the excitement, that fulfillment, that finally maybe I can be an engineer. Maybe I am an engineer now, you know, and that kind of excitement. But the storyline behind that one is, hey, look, it is you. When you get into the industry, it is you. Everything is you. Whether you succeed or whether you fail, is you. You have to know yourself. You have to know what works for you. You know, I've got friends who are really really smart. Once you teach them one thing in the class, that is all. But from myself, knowing myself from even JSS, I was the kid who was always ahead because you know, maybe I could be slow sometimes. So, and the way I learn is more about understanding. I hate chew and pour. I hate it. So anything have to, it has to make sense to me to understand. And that was even the reason why in school I was questioning so much. Everything has to make sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to me, I have to like struggle to choose something and go and pour. I am always saying things from how I understand it. That's why even this speech is not written, because I can only say it as I feel and as I understand it. You know, so it is very important that when you get into the industry, you remember yourself, know who you are, and do things that work out for you. That was the reason for me to go and sit back in the office and you know, to learn all of these things, because you know that's what I know works for me. Even till now, I barely go for courses on how to use a software because of that single thing I did in Shrano. You know, it stuck with me that now I feel like the only reason I don't know something is because I haven't learned it or I haven't read it. Once I read it, I know I will get it. So I don't really get jealous if someone knows something that I don't know. I always tell myself the only reason they know is because they've learned it. And the only reason I don't know is because I've not learned it. So, you know, you have to really take that on board and make sure that anything that you do, you are putting yourself into it. Once you get into the industry, it's not about classroom work anymore. It's about your dedication. It's about those values to hard work. That is the only thing that will get you there. I'll fast forward it to coming to Australia. So coming to.
So can you hurry up for us?
How many minutes?
A minute. You've spent your time.
Oh, I've already spent my time. Okay, so to round it up so that you will get time for more interactions, I think I will probably get to give more when the questions come in. But the use of technology is very important. Like I mentioned to you when in 2007, when I was given the chance to do the borehole, I basically had to sleep in an internet cafe at Bantima where I lived. You know, I have to spend all my cash, and the internet was very slow just to get the information. The same thing happened to me before I came here. Someone just basically told me, if you have an account on this website, which is they recruit for mining engineers, you probably will get a chance. I just opened an account there, put my CV there, and a recruitment company called me, and that's the reason why I got a chance to come here. People don't use the internet as they have to use it. The internet is a powerful tool. We all have mobile phones in our hands. Instead of using it on Facebook and all of that, the same platforms, people are using it to get information every day. And we should remember information is very powerful, and it's the information that you get that you can make use of. So please, I'll probably stop here, open floor for questions, and maybe from there, I'll be able to elaborate on some things I haven't been able to touch on. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Akwasi, for your nice speech this evening. Please, we would like them to put the questions in the chat. So if you could check from that side and then answer them from the area.
Okay. Let me start from the top. Kindly, yeah, Mr. President, can you, okay, that's not a question. I'll scroll down. So Hubert, to everyone, kindly write down your questions. Okay, that's not a question. Question, is there any way we Ghanaian students can do internships in mining companies in Australia? I think the only way, if you ask me, will be through exchange programs on platforms like OSIM, but from you as an individual applying to a mining company here for internship, I think that is highly impossible, because there are also students like you here who are also every vacation looking for opportunities to go into the mines. I would say that there are opportunities here for many students, but Sam will probably be the best person to answer this, because he was here last year as a student, and he can attest to how difficult at times it could be to, get a chance to come into the mines for internship, especially if you are from Africa. Sam, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, what you are saying is true. I think it's quite very competitive, and the industry and they have the universities. Last time I was talking about the industry, the link that they have with the university. So it will be very, very difficult for them to just skip all the mining universities students in Australia and to come to and even they will even go to US, go to Canada. You have to be realistic. If there is any choice, they would like to go through US, Canada, UK before they even So I think you made it very clear. Probably the only way is through OSIM. Now they give scholarships to students. So one of the benefits or one of the package can be, once these are giving these scholarships, it can be an exchange program for, let's say, 2-3 months or something. That I think that would be the only stream, because you need a working permit. It's a whole lot of stuff. It's not that easy.
That's true. And also probably maybe the OSIM chapter could link up with the Australian embassy in Ghana, work with them, partner with them in some of the programs that you do. You can go to them for sponsorships, and I've seen a couple of your students already on the OSIM websites here about stuff that you are doing in Ghana, which is really great. And this is what the embassies would want to partake in. So if you present yourself to them and let them know that there's a chapter like that in Ghana, maybe through that something can also happen in the future. There's a question from Ishmael Anafo. So please, what are the main things you keep in mind when dealing with your mentors? Most mentor-mentee relationships die out before long. How do we maintain such relationship without being a nuisance? It is really true, so you have many on the way and some will go out eventually. Bright, I don't know if you knew, but Professor Jima was on my list when I completed school, because he was my facilitator for my supervisor. So he was on my CV, and I used to call him and give him updates on what was happening to me after school. When I went to Akwasi, I used to call him a lot. But then I felt it died naturally, because anytime I called, I had to kind of reintroduce myself. So it got to a point, I think he was then starting to know who I was. But then I felt that was really going to be hard to maintain, especially him being a Takwa. Maybe he had other students he was more interested in and things like that. So at times, it's got to be really, you've got to have that natural relationship. Look, there's nothing wrong with fighting at times to keep that relationship. It's the same relationship as a relationship you have with your mom or dad or a friend you meet or a girlfriend or whatever. It's got to be maintained. But how do you maintain it? Sometimes it's got to come from one side, and normally it's from the one who wants it the most. So you have to push for it until it sticks. So with Henry and Peter, they've been like that to me till now, because I made sure I was almost always sending Henry an email. I was even calling him at times from Ghana when he was in Aussie. So that is how to maintain the relationship. You would have to let the person also know that you take their advice seriously. When they ask you to do something, you do it, even if you don't agree with them. Because at the end of the day, you are the one seeking something. There was something that Professor Mrekujima mentioned to us in our final year when we were doing mineral economics. He was teaching us about interest. And he said, interest is the only word that if you take out of the world, the world will collapse. Interest. Everyone is doing something for interest. He said, I'm not teaching you because I love you. I'm teaching you because I'm interested in my pay at the end of the month. The pastor is not preaching you because he loves you. He's preaching you because at the end of the day, he wants to go to heaven, because that's what the Bible says. So interest is very important in everything we do. And therefore, if you want to maintain a good relationship with your mentor, what is the interest? What interest do you have? He might not have any interest. You are the one who is seeking something. So you look after your interest and make sure you stay with that person and not, like you said, make it a nuisance. Yeah, at times it depends on how, our choice of words and the way we relate to people that will determine if it's being a nuisance. You can't be calling people 10 midnight just to have a chat about your career. No, it's not done anywhere. You have to be also.
Okay. Read the rest of the questions and then if you could answer them together for us because of our time, and then.
Okay, we're running out of time. So, how do we equip ourselves as students for work we want to do aside the classroom work? How would you compare mining in Australia to in Ghana, and how would we Ghana catch up with the technological advancement in the sector? Can you please share with us a site where you can learn various mining softwares? Thank you. Question. I think the one I will probably go into will be the comparison between the industry. Like I said, so far as I'm concerned, with the theory side, there's nothing different. UMass is one of the best mining schools you could get in the world. Anything that you are being taught there is very relevant. I think it all comes down to when you come to field, the values that you apply. That's why I started talking about the values. It's about the hard work that you put in. There are some cultural issues that we have as Africans and as Ghanaians. We are always very laid back. We are always waiting for people to give us instructions, which is something that it seeps through our culture. Because growing up, we are being told, what the elder says is the truth, and you don't question the elderly. And so it makes people not very innovative. And we bring it into our workplaces, where people are always waiting for the boss to tell them what to do. So if the boss gives you one work, after he's done, he just sits down and wait for the boss to come and give him another work. But it doesn't happen over here. Over here, I think also, like I'm saying, it's a cultural thing. People are very outspoken, so it makes you look like people are really confident. At times, someone could be confident and know nothing about what they are talking about. But just the confidence in which they are talking, it's like a trickster, a confident trickster. I don't know if you guys remember that story. There was a story like that in school. He can talk boldly, but have no idea what he's talking about. And that's where sometimes we lack. We seem to be very, maybe not timid, but very laid back, which also has its importance. There are some situations like we do very well in management because we are very laid back guys. So it gives you time to reflect. It gives you time to think about other people, and we are very like empathetic. So we consider the feelings of others. Whilst the Western world is not like that, you know, they just go like that, bam, bam, bam. So if he wants to sack you, he just sacks you. He doesn't care if you have 12 kids and you are the breadwinner or whatever. They don't care. They will just sack you. Whilst we are not like that. So in some aspects, some of our culture is good for, you know, it prepares us for those kind of roles and things like that. But on some other side, not at all. We seem to lack confidence, and although we might be the most learned person in the room, but then we are always like laid back and waiting for people to tell us what to do. And those are the differences. But when it comes to the books, I think we are all studying the same material. One thing I will leave you with, which goes back to what I just said, was in Chirano when one senior engineer that I had who was a Ghanaian was asking me not to do a job because I haven't been taught. I haven't been sent to any course for the work I was doing. But remember, you've been in school for 4 years. That is all the teaching that you know. Once you get to the field, don't wait for someone to teach you. That's why you are a university graduate. You have been equipped in these 4 years that when you get out of school, you should be able to stand on your, toes and do whatever you want to do. You have the capacity to learn by yourself. You don't need anyone to teach you again. That's why even in a university, they don't teach, they lecture. After school, you should be able to grab any material from anywhere in the world, learn, understand it, and apply it. I hope I'm just on time now. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Look, we can do this again if you want to. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't know it was gonna go this way, but it's been my pleasure, and I hope I've said something that is worth taking with you. Thank you so very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Akwasi, for such a...
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for your applause. And then we'll call Mr. Nsia Ezekiel to give us the closing remarks for tonight's seminar. Mr. Nsia, if you're around.
Papane time.
Are you around?
Elite.
But just before he goes on, if anyone wants to continue with the chat, you can catch me on LinkedIn, Akwasi Amponsa, or you can catch me on Facebook. Facebook is Akwasi-Akyampon. The Champon is spelled Akyampon. So you can ask me any questions you want to ask over there, and we can continue this conversation afterwards.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Akwasi. We would like to thank you all for making this seminar a successful one, and then to all who made it, and then to our friends who couldn't make it. We hope that next time they will all be here to join for this interaction. And then what we would like to say to Mr. Akwasi-Akyampon is that we thank you for your time and then for sharing your experience with us. I hope we all learned something from what he just said to us. One thing I learned from was the importance of seeing yourself as a global person. And then we are all competent as a student who is in Colorado School of Mines. And I know that with God and then with the little we have been taught, by the time we are done with our first degree, we can do something. Mr. Akwasi-Akyampon started from nothing, and then we all also won't start from anything, but with perseverance and then with hard work, we are going to get there as he has also got there. So we'd like to thank you all for this evening, and then I hope you all learn and practice what we learned this evening. Thank you, and then have a.
Yeah, so before we end, I want to ask, we have to request for Mr. Apea-Akyampon to come back to share the Australian part. It looks like the Australian experience didn't come out because of our time. And we would, yeah, as he has given us the time, bag him any time. We'll use the opportunity to invite him again and share that aspect. And also to mention on the mentorship aspect, as he mentioned about Mekujima and UMAT lecturers, all those things. What I've seen and known is that you should always move with a mentor that has got a natural flow, right? If somebody who is very far ahead of you keep asking you questions about your professional life, a hint that the person wants to mentor you, you should just pick it that the person wants to mentor you. So if you like some major aspect about his life, that is the natural flow. Lead. You just go by that direction. Yeah. So thank everyone, and thank you for joining. Thank you, Mr. Akwasi. Go, please get in touch. All right.
Hey, boss. All right. Catch you later, guys.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's been fun. Cheers.
All right. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Mm.